Now, we have, Ghost Story Book has got 6 books published. You know, we started only in the pandemic, so we publish 1 book a year. We read during the fair a poem from each of the first 3 books. Now we're going to read a poem from new 3 books. And the first one is Keats, John Keats, the famous romantic, because I've translated him into Spanish. One of my big things, I've translated Keats into Spanish. So Kevin, who is English, so he's going to read with a beautiful accent, the original from Keats, by Keats, and I will read my version in Spanish. And again, like I said today, I hope that you listen to the Spanish, even if you don't understand. And put yourself, this is a multicultural book fair, remember, in the position of somebody that arrives from Bangladesh, from whoever, where English is not the main language, Spain, Romania, and has to listen to you speaking English, and yet fall in love with you and your country and your English, okay? It's the music, it's the term, it's not, the meaning is not necessarily in the words, it's in the music.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, thank you. This is called On First Looking into Chapman's Home. Much have I travelled in the realms of gold, and many goodly states and kingdoms seen. Round many western islands have I been, which bards in fealty to Apollo hold. Oft of wide expanse had I been told that deep-browed Homer ruled as his domain. Yet I never breathed its pure serene till I heard Chapman speak out loud and bold. Then felt I like some watcher of the skies when a new planet swims into his ken, or like stout Cortes when, with eagle eyes, he stared at the Pacific and, with all his men, looked at each other with a wild surmise, silent upon a peak in Darien.
So that was Keats, and this is my Spanish version. Mucho he deambulado por las tierras donde brota el oro, y muchas haciendas y felices reinos he avistado. He circunnavegado muchas islas occidentales donde los bardos con sus versos rinden homenaje a Apolo. A menudo de una vasta extensión de tierra me hablaron, donde el perspicaz Homero sobre sus reinos gobernaba. Mas nunca comprendí justamente su serena grandeza hasta que escuché la voz de Chapman, fuerte y altanera. Entonces me sentí como aquel que zambulle la vista en los cielos para hallar en sus profundidades un planeta hasta entonces ignorado. O como el robusto Cortés cuando con sus ojos de águila contempló el Pacífico por primera vez, al tiempo que sus hombres se miraban unos a otros, haciéndose conjeturas descabelladas en silencio, desde las alturas de alguna cumbre, allá en el Darién.
This is, well, do you want to introduce Angel Chalon?
Oh yeah, this is a poet from Mallorca who's also a scientist, professor of inorganic chemistry in the University of the Balearic Islands. He's a very famous poet in Catalan. He writes in Catalan. I'm from Barcelona, so I speak Catalan as well as Spanish. And I have the honor to have translated him into English for the first time ever. And he is fantastic because he's a scientist and a poet. That's why the title is The Poetry of Science, because all scientists from the Enlightenment in Europe in the late 18th century had to fight against religion, the Catholic religion in Spain, that prevented science from developing. They forced Galileo famously to recant because the orbit of the Earth around the Sun. They said, no, that's not how it works. So because of that, science has been problematic with poetry, because poetry was associated with religion, with mumbo jumbo, with ideas. However, now, because of quantum mechanics and the discovery of the way that the world works, is weirder than what Newton in his mechanics thought. So actually, this poet, is very aware of that, and he is very happy that poetry and science are coming together as a scientist and a poet, coming together now as they were in the Druid and shamanistic times when everything was together, because poetry and, sorry to the long introduction, poetry and science are not opposing ways, but sister, brotherly ways of looking at reality.
But why don't you read the Spanish first? And so people, I know you won't understand, but you'll get the music of it, and then I'll read the English.
But I will read it in Catalan, not in Spanish, because it's written in Catalan. This is a multicultural fair, so we've got several languages. It's called Las ungles brutas, which in English translates dirty nails. A l'escola de nim ens revisaren les mans. No podien dur mai brutó. Era un poc humiliant aquesta revisió d'higiene i de cortesia. El sutge que s'hi amagava era a voltes un record del dia que havíem viscut amb la violència dels infants a la recerca del món que s'ofrenava als nostres ulls, els cans i els insectes del camper. Gratar, remoure els desigs, són feines pròpies de la recerca que m'ataca amb morques els dits de l'ànima. Recercant els músculs i l'anatomia, Michelangelo Buonarroti desencarnava els cossos dels cadàvers, els desproveïa de pell, els palpava i disseccionava. Llavors, dibuixava l'avidesa de gosar i sentir amb tinta xinesa. Ell sempre portava les ungles brutes.
Right, so it's called Dirty Nails, and it's those of us of a particular generation, I'm seeing lots of young people in this room, will not remember that when we were at school, you had to hold up your fingers and your nails to see if you had clean hands.
Wow.
Whatever the class, nothing to do with necessarily education, but you had to have clean fingernails. So the dirty nails here are dirty fingernails. It's called dirty nails. At school as a child, we kept having our hands checked. No dirt to be found in them. That review of hygiene and good manners was really humiliating. The soil that was hiding there was sometimes the memory of a day spent in childhood's wild ways, investigating the brand new world that opened in front of our eyes among the thistles and the insects and the beetles. Scratching and stirring up desire are typical tasks of the kind of research that stains the fingers of our souls. Researching about muscles and anatomy, Michelangelo used to remove the flesh of corpses, stripping them of skin, palpating and dissecting them. Then he made drawings in Chinese ink of that lust to enjoy perfume. He always had dirty nails. And for our final time, we're going to read from Popping Corn. And the great thing about this is Mendigo Diego, and he is across in England very soon. He's across in England next month. You can come and see him read at the Century Club, where Rafuel and I are doing a
surrealist evening.
A surrealist evening.
Because he's a poet that writes in the surrealist style. So surrealism, as you may or may not remember from school or whatever, it tries to appeal directly to your soul without passing, and your heart and your senses without going through the reason of the brain. That's the point of surrealism in painting or whatever. In theater, there were many manifestations of surrealism. It's this idea of bypassing rationality. So you're going to listen to something that it seems that doesn't make any sense, but actually, if you listen it with your eyes half closed, as one must understand things normally, then you will see that it actually makes more sense than you thought it would do.
So half close your eyes as I will, with two very short poems, before you tell us we're going over our 7 minutes, two very short poems. This is, I gave names to things. For example, I wished an ant to be called a tear, just because I saw her fall from one cheek onto the ground. And because it began to run through the faintest shimmer of those lines. If this is what is called metaphor, I just say what I saw. I keep to my word.
And the original, because this is my translation, by the way, so this is me in English. The original in Spanish is like this. Puse nombre a las cosas. Por ejemplo, quise llamar hormiga a una lágrima, solo porque la vi caer de una mejilla hasta el suelo y porque echó a correr por la máquina leve de este verso. Si esto es lo que llaman metáfora, solo digo lo que vi, no digo yo.
And we finish tonight with another very short one. So it's like we have rehearsed this, honestly. It's a poem 13.
It's in Roman numbers.
It's in Roman numerals. Okay. Play the violin, my dear scarecrow, with the rush of a pair of shoes that must be broken in. Play it with the soft quality of a self-sufficient man. Do not marry your own shadow, or else destroy a trumpet.
Toca el violín, querido espantapájaros, con la premura por estrenar de unos zapatos. Táñelo con la suave cualidad de una melodía independiente. No te cases con tu sombra o rompe una trompeta.
I walked the earth, centuries of snow and ice crunched on my foot. There were hues of colour in this wilderness, Greenland. Can you believe it? The older the icebergs, the more colourful they were. Here, grey, stroke white was young. The helicopter that had flown over, shifting ice and quietly moving water, had reached a point of no return. Only enough fuel to continue in one direction. If you fell in there, death would come quick. Before this landscape, I had walked a vast and quiet place of sound. The silence was deafening at first, then came the stillness to hear your own heartbeat. Then came the rhythm of the desert, singing to yourself, Sahara. I walked on a beach with black sand and white pebbles on the other side of the world, New Zealand. Not only have I walked, I have ridden too, a horse called Prince. In temperament, he was the best of one. A horse called Cloud on a cloudy day, galloping along the beach. A horse called Logan, who, unlike the sci-fi film, Logan's Run, wasn't having any of it. And in Cuba, a world of artists and hot salsa, a horse with no name. I have walked and I have swum in deep waters. I have giggled in delight as a wild dolphin of close to 3 meters swooped past me. Their clicks of communication, surround sounds, so like Dolby in the cinema. As for sea lions, on land, great pounds of lard soaking up the sun. In water, swimming with them was what a surprise. Fast and graceful as ballerinas in the sea, imperious too, up close, peering into you. I've walked the earth and I've fallen high from the sky. Never again. Gravity yanking one of its children back to earth in a tandem skydive. Believe me, I kissed the earth to be back on the ground again. Oh, and my pilot too. And on that clear, blue, sunny day, I saw the curve of the earth, Gaia. It truly is the end scene of Blade Runner. Batty saying, I've seen things, you people. Indeed, I was privileged to have opportunity to live the life of the books I read way back in the day in the children's library. Books I escaped to read and dream, more to speak of, more to come. And